بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على محمد المصطفى وعلى آله وأصحابه أولي الصدق والصفاء أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى جل جلاله في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد من الله على المؤمنين إذ بعث فيهم رسولا من أنفسهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما والصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله والصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله والصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله. Their eminences, the Muslim scholars, ladies and gentlemen, the topic of today, for me, according to me, was the Miladun Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The birthday of the Holy Prophet was the first invitation for the prophethood of Muhammad. May grace and peace of Allah be upon him. But I was not aware that I am to prove the good innovation and bad innovation and to differentiate between both of the kinds. But since the compare obliged me to talk about the innovation, whether it is innovation or sunnah or something else. And innovation is to be defined what the innovation is according to Islamic terminology. Because this is not a lexical word, this is a terminological word. Therefore, in the light of our Islamic normative sciences, this word is to be defined. Because every community has got its own terminology. According to Islamic terminology, bid'ah is not just to invent or to innovate anything, but there are certain particulars, certain qualifications, certain conditions to be complied with to define the bid'ah. Bid'ah is not just to innovate something. First of all, I would like to translate the verses I recited before you. Qur'an says, لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا. Allah has obliged the believers with the sending of the Holy Prophet, the great Prophet, the marvelous, the remarkable, the most prominent Rasul. Because Rasulan, this new nation is for dignity. The new nation is of five kinds. One of them is for dignity. Means mere Rasul is not enough to translate the dignity of the Holy Prophet. You will have to say he is not mere prophet, but he is the chief prophet. Rasulan means he is the chief prophet. This Rasulan, these two strokes on the top of Rasulan, these are of five kinds. One of them is tanween of new nation of dignity, which signifies that he is not a common prophet, but he is leader of the prophet. And he is not proud of being a prophet or the leader of the prophet, but the prophets are proud of having such a leader. The Holy Prophet is with such qualification. Min anfusihim, from amongst them. Yatlu alayhim ayatihi. He recites the verses of the Holy Quran to them. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ and sanctifies them, purifies them. وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابِ the teaching of the book is afterwards. But before the teaching of the book, he can purify it and he can sanctify everyone who accepts him as a prophet. يُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابِ you will have to check the difference between the teaching of the Holy Quran and sanctifying of the people. Means before the teaching of the Holy Quran, he can sanctify. Means he is not in need of any teaching. He can purify with the eye, with the eyesight, with the focus, with the attention. وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ he teaches them the book and the wisdom. وَإِنْ كَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ verily, the people were in obvious misleading and deviation before he was advented by Allah. This is the translation of the Holy Quran, the verse of the Holy Quran I recited before you. Since Maulana obliged me to talk about bid'ah, first of all, the Muslim is duty bound to know the definition of bid'ah. Hazrat Imam al-Nawawi, who passed away in 675, he was one of the greatest Muslim traditionalists. He writes in his book, Tehzeebul Asma wal Lughat. Is my sound audible for you? You can easily understand what I say? My words, my speech is clear enough for you to understand? Okay. Imam Nawawi says in his book, Tehzeebul Asma wal Lughat, in the second volume, page number 22, he says that إِخْدَاسُ مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ فِي عَهْدِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ the bid'ah can be defined as any matter invented or found or discovered after the death of the Holy Prophet. Means, according to this definition, all of the actions and omissions found after the death of the Holy Prophet can be included in the class of bid'ah. There are many things which were found in Islam and they are very compulsory, very necessary for the Muslims, in spite of the fact that they are bid'ah. And the tradition which was mentioned in the book of canonical books, Bukhari or Muslim, kullu bid'atin dalalatun wa kullu dalalatin finnar. Every innovation is misleading and misguidance, and every misguidance is liable to be put in the hell. So this tradition is mostly quoted against us. But you should know that it was explained and elucidated by Shah Abdul Haq, Muhaddis Delhi Rahmatullah Alayh, the first traditionalist of India. He was the first Sunni person who introduced the total canonical books of the tradition in India. And he was from the lineage of Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And he was a disciple of Musa Pak Shaheed of Multan, in the lineage of Syed Abdul Qadir Jilani. And he is believed to be a research scholar without any restriction, without any speciality. He was master of total subjects introduced in Islamic world. And all of the Islamic normative sciences were on the tip of Hazrat Shah Abdul Haq, Muhaddis Delhi Rahmatullah Ta'ala Alayh. He says that this tradition is special for certain matters. It is not absolute. Kullu bidatin dalalatin. He says even if the word of kul was used, I can say with full responsibility, and I can prove, and I can substantiate my claim that it was mentioned in Ashiyatul Ma'ad, Sharh Mishkat, and Mishkatul Masabih, and Lamatul Tanhi, Sharh Mishkatul Masabih. He has written 2 commentaries on Mishkat Sharif. One in Persian, which is called Ashiyatul Ma'ad, Sharh Mishkat. The other one is called Lam'atu Tanqi Sharh Mishkat al-Masabi. He has written in both of the books that this is not absolute, but this is restricted one. Means this is restricted to certain matters which are against the tradition and the holy Quran. Whichever was established by the Holy Quran and the prophetic traditions, if any new invented or innovated thing contradicts with that one, that can be called a bid'ah. That is misleading. That is misguiding. That is liable to be sent to the hell. Otherwise, all of the other things which are invented by the Muslims are legalized, can be legalized, can be legitimized, can be validated. For instance, first of all, the first thing which was invented after the death of the Holy Prophet was compilation of the Holy Quran. Since the Holy Quran could not be compiled during the period of prophethood of Muhammad Mustafa, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him, when there was a fight of Yamama and a vast majority of the Quranic reciters were murdered there, then Farooq Azam radiallahu anhu began to realize that Quran was going to be abolished with this way, because all of the memorizers of the Holy Quran and reciters of the Holy Quran were going to be killed. If new such wars are launched by the Muslims at different places, at different occasions, the Quran will totally be abolished. Therefore, he suggested to Farooq Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu to compile the Holy Quran. Bukhari says, Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala replied to Hazrat Farooq Azam radiallahu ta'ala, how can I do what was not done by the Holy Prophet himself? It means that he did not believe himself to be competent to invent any new thing without proper consideration. Alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnatil khulafa'ir rashidin al-mahdiyyin. This is tradition mentioned in canonical books of Bukhari, Muslim and other reliable sources. But here says this was a metaphorical sentence that Nabi Kareem ﷺ wanted to assure the Muslims that every practice by the caliphs of righteous caliphs of the Prophet would be justified, would be properly touched on the touchstone of the criterion of the Holy Prophet. Therefore, their actions and omissions can be introduced as Sunnah of the Holy Prophet, because they were fully committed to Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam. Therefore, their practice could be relied upon as a Sunnah. Otherwise, their practice was not Sunnah. If their practice had been Sunnah, Hazrat Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu would not have hesitated. He should have said, let us do. He said, Kaifa afalu ma lam yaf'aluhu Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How can I do what could not be done by the Holy Prophet? It means that the answer of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu shows that every practice by the righteous caliphs was not Sunnah. Otherwise, Hazrat Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu would not have said that how can I do what was not done by the Holy Prophet. And for many times he repeated the same suggestion. Then Hazrat Siddiq Akbar says that Allah Rabbul Izzat inspired in my heart, and it was intuitive knowledge. You will have to believe that there are certain intuitive knowledge which can be relied upon for the practice. Otherwise there was no revelation. And Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu, the most prominent person among the Muslim community, and will remain in the same position up to the judgment day. But he could not say that he was competent to innovate anything he likes. But he said, Kaifa af'alu ma lam yaf'aluhu Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then a committee was legislated by Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala, which was chaired by Farooq Azam radiallahu ta'ala. And Quran Majid began to be compiled. And the private secretary of Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam, Zayd bin Sabit, was detailed to compile all of the Holy Quran. Here, the Muslims will have to consider. The procedure was decided that at least 2 persons should be witness to the authenticity of a verse of the Holy Quran, and then that verse would be inserted, and would be incorporated, and would be included in the Holy Quran. Are you satisfied about my sound? Yes. Since I have been suffering of the confusion, I could not understand any word. Really, I was deprived of this blessing. Therefore, I am afraid I may not be able to make you understand about what I say. Are you satisfied about my sound? Every word is clear enough for you to understand? Okay. Then, the decision of committee was at least 2 persons should be witness to the fact that this verse was quoted, recited, and affirmed by the Holy Prophet that it was a component part of the Holy Quran. Otherwise, no verse would be inserted, would be incorporated, would be included in the text of the Holy Quran. And once upon a time, Hazrat Huzaifa bin al-Yaman, Huzaiman, he came there. He said, لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ عَزِيزٌ عَلَيْهِ مَا عَنِتُّمْ. These 2 verses, and one was in Surah Ahzab. He adduced in the quote of Zayd bin Sabit radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and requested him to insert in the text of the Holy Quran. He said, where is other witness? Without the quorum of the evidence, it cannot be included in the Holy Quran. He said that you will have to insert. My opinion, my evidence is equal to that of those persons. He said, Quran says, فَاسْتَشْهِدُوا شَهِدَيْنِ مِنْ رِجَالِكُمْ. At least there must be 2 evidences to the fact. Otherwise, nothing can be authenticated. For the authentication of the genuineness of the verse of the Holy Quran, you will have to produce with another person. He said, you know, the Holy Prophet said, Man shahida lahu Huzaima fahuwa hasbu. Bukhari. This is text of Bukhari. Man shahida lahu Huzaima fahuwa hasbu. Whatever the matter may be, when Huzaima radiallahu ta'ala anhu becomes witness to it, he verifies it. His evidence is equal to that of those 2 persons. When Quran says that less than 2 persons cannot be witness to a fact, and nothing can be substantiated, nothing can be established without the production of 2 witnesses. Look, here Sunni believes that the Holy Prophet is competent person to give the law, and he has got a right to change anything. This is one of the prerogative rights of the Holy Prophet. In any constitutions, there are prerogative rights. The prerogative rights were given to Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam by this verse of the Holy Quran, Ma ataakum rasulu fakhuzuhu wa ma nahakum anhu fantahu. Nothing was defined by Allah that you are duty bound to take such and such things from the Holy Prophet. But Allah obliged the believers to take and obey whatever was enacted or given or handed over by Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu without any detail, indiscriminately, regardless whether you know it or not. It was introduced before or not. You are duty bound to obey the Prophet. Under this very verse, Hazrat Khuzaima Ansari radiallahu anhu said, you know that once upon a time, Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam bought an animal, whether camel or horse. There is a difference among the Muslim scholars whether it was horse or camel. And Nabi Kareem ﷺ was going to pay the money as a price for that animal. And that animal was owned by the Jew. Nabi Kareem ﷺ brought him his home just to pay the money, just to pay the price. And during the way, somebody contacted him and he offered more money, then he changed his mind. So this type of dishonesty is legal one here, and everybody can change the mind. Wife can change the mind, the buyer can change the mind, any other person can change the mind. Changing of mind is not a dishonesty in this country, but according to Islamic law, after the decision, changing of mind is not lawful. And he said, I did not sell it. Nabi Kareem ﷺ said, you sold. He said, no, we are the witness. Nabi Kareem ﷺ said, there is no witness. And Khuzaimah Ansari radiallahu anhu was there. He said, I am witness to the fact. He sold and you bought. Nabi Kareem ﷺ asked him to explain how he was the witness to the fact when he was not present at the occasion. He said, O my holy prophet, let me know whether I am witness to Allah or not. About the entity of Allah, oneness of Allah, attributes of Allah, qualities of Allah. Nabi Kareem ﷺ said, yeah, you are, of course, witness to Allah. He said, I was present at the occasion. I have seen my Allah. Nabi Kareem ﷺ said, no, you never saw Allah. He said, how can I be witness to the fact? Just because I listened from your tongue, you told me that Allah is one. When I can be qualified, I can be defined as a proper and perfect and legal witness to the entity of Allah, to the existence of Allah, to the attributes of Allah, to the qualities of Allah. When I am competent to be witness to Allah, so what is the reason for me not to be competent to be witness to a horse or a camel? The methodology of argumentation by Khuzaimah Ansari radiallahu ta'ala anhu, I was very happy. He said, Man shahida lahu Khuzaimah fahuwa hasbu. Wherever and to whatever Khuzaimah Ansari radiallahu ta'ala anhu is witness, his evidence would be equalized to that of two persons. So here, these verses were inserted in the Holy Quran. We will challenge the society. If you don't believe in the authority of the Holy Prophet, let me know why these two verses or three verses were inserted and included in the text of the Holy Quran. Just because the power of the Holy Prophet was relied upon. The power of the Holy Prophet was authenticated. And Nabi Kareem ﷺ was empowered by Allah to say whatever he liked. Now, the verse of the Quran says that less than two evidence are not acceptable to achieve the decision. But the Holy Prophet says that this person is exempted from this liability. He is not duty bound to provide with two evidences, but he himself is a conclusive evidence to the fact. If a person does not believe in the authority of the Holy Quran, in the authority of the Holy Prophet, he will have to exclude these verses from the Holy Quran. And he will have to refuse the authenticity of these verses of the Holy Quran. But if a person refuses the authenticity of these two verses or three verses from the Holy Quran, he would not be included in the Muslim society. It means that the belief of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that the Holy Prophet is fully competent to give the law or to exempt some person from the liability of any law or introduce any law. Since It was discussion about. It was discussion about the bid'ah. So compilation of the Holy Quran was bid'ah. This was a supplementary question intervened in this correction. Those verses of the Holy Quran were also included in the text of the Holy Quran. And being a Muslim, one is responsible to reject the matter. If innovation by the Muslims cannot be legalized, he will have to challenge the authenticity of the Holy Quran, because the Holy Quran was not compiled in the reign of Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam. This was the first bid'ah. And you can see, Maulana, there are two azans. Two azans were not given at the time of the Holy Prophet. I can say with resounding voice in the community of the Muslims, in a heavy congregation, that it was not done by the Holy Prophet himself during his period, during the caliphate of Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala, neither during the caliphate of Hazrat Farooq Alam radiyallahu ta'ala. When it was invented, it was innovated in the reign of Hazrat Usman. Hadaya, Kitab al-Azan, and the chapter of Juma, and the marginal note, Hashia, marginal note, number 9. Here Imam Ibn Hajar says that it was invented by Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. What was the rule? Just for contrivance. Maslihat, for the contrivance. Why? Since the pressure of the population of the Muslims increased in Medina Tayyibah, and first azan was not enough to inform the people, just to summon the people, just to attack the people, that sound was not enough. With the name of Zawra, there was a building in the market. Hazrat Usman radiyallahu ta'ala asked the muazzin to go there and to climb upon the roof and say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This second azan was introduced by Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu ta'ala in his reign, and afterward it was followed up to now, and no a single Muslim was found in the world to reject the innovation of Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu ta'ala. You will have to believe. Hazrat Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayh writes in his book Tahzib al-Asma wal-Lugha, he says that the bid'ah is of 5 kinds. One is totally haram, unlawful, invalid. The second one is just makruh tahrima, and the third one is mubah, and the fourth one is obligatory. The fifth one is just appreciable. And it was classified by Hazrat Imam Shami rahmatullah as well, by Izzuddin bin Abdul Salam, Umdatul Ahkam fi Masail al-Awam. This was mentioned. Now I am going to classify. He says that certain bid'ah are haram, just like new types of belief, new type of religion, just Qadianiyat, just Mu'tazilites, Jahmiya, Dirhamiya, Kullabiya, Kharijiyya, Dawudiyya, Zahiriya, Jahiziyya. These are the new sects. These are also innovation, but they are totally haram. The Muslim's duty is to contradict them and refute them. It is duty of every Muslim to suppress the new type of belief which was not introduced by the Holy Prophet himself, his companion themselves, and afterwards a vast history of the Muslims. Only Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they were approved from the first day up to now, and they will be approved up to the judgment day. And all of the other religions are highly culpable, and they cannot be legalized. This is also bid'ah, because this type of religions and sects were not found in the age of the Holy Prophet, in the age of the Caliphate, in the age of the competent Muslim scholars. And if they were found there, they were rejected by the Muslim scholars. Therefore, we can define them as a haram bid'ah, the totally void. And the other one, for instance, certain bid'ahs are just permissible, just delicious food, new type of clothes. They are also bid'ah. They are not beneficial or tortious to Islam. They cannot harm Islam, and they cannot benefit to Islam. Therefore, they are just permissible. And the other bid'ah, which can more likely be dangerous to Islam, they are bid'ah makruh tahrima. Just like new type of tahriks, which are not saying, they say that we are just Sida Sada Muslim. We are simple Muslim. But when you discover them, there are many complications in internal side, but outwardly they said we are very simple. The simple Muslims were not found in the previous history. This is also a bid'ah. Wherever they go, they introduce themselves. We are simple Muslims. We are simple. This simplicity is very complicated. I have been making my tour in 84 countries, but I found this type of simplicity, which was constituted as a conspiracy against Islam. Whenever you find a simple Muslim, you should try to know his background. He would be connected with a very dangerous and destructive party, and he is showing himself. This is misrepresentation, highly culpable action, according to the society as well, according to Islam as well, according to the law as well. This type of Muslims should not penetrate the Muslims. Their penetration among the Muslims is highly dangerous. They show themselves. We are simple. It means that the previous Muslims were complicated. You are simple. And he does not know what the Quran is, what the tradition is, what Islam is, what are the contents of Islam. And he just recites and begins to write Arabic. Look, Arabic is media. Islam is not Arabic. Islam is international religion, universal religion. If you translate geometry in Punjabi, you will have to learn from a teacher. Even if the media is Punjabi, you can change it into Urdu, but you will have to learn. Similarly, the contents of Islam are not confined in Arabic. If the knowledge of Arabic was enough to understand the Holy Quran, then the teachers for the Arabic would not have been necessary. And you should know that yu'allimukumul kitab, even if the Quran was Arabic, but the most supreme person was detailed there to teach them the Holy Quran. All the Islamic knowledge sciences are necessary to learn, to understand, and to be applied on the text of the Holy Quran. Otherwise, the Quran and prophetic tradition cannot be understood. And the bid'ah wajibah, look, the time is very short. Otherwise, I would have detailed all of the relevant questions. Look, the arch which is found in the mosque was not built up in the reign of the Holy Prophet, in the caliphate of the righteous caliphates. It was built up, it was introduced by Umar bin Abdul Aziz, Wafaul Wafa, in 4 volumes, written by Imam Samhudi, who passed away in 911 AH, and he was buried in Medina Tayyibah. This book is very voluminous. It writes that this arch was not found in complete 1 century after 1 century, it was introduced. Now I would like you to know it as bid'ah, and I would like you to determine an opinion, to maintain an opinion about the status of this arch. I would like to ask you a question, Maulana. If a mosque is built up without arch, is culpable or not? Of course it is culpable, because one cannot easily identify. For instance, you go to Belgium, you are in need of human needs, and you want to break the ablution, to renew the ablution, and the time is going on. The time is a very crucial position, and you are in need of doing the prayer, and you are wanting here and there just to find out the proper place. When you see the arch of the mosque, you can easily conclude that this is a mosque, because this type of building was not found in any other religion. And by the sign of arch, you would be able to identify the location of the mosque. You go inside and renew the ablution and do the prayer. And there's a principle of Islamic jurisprudence. Islamic jurisprudence says that when a thing is source of farz, that source is also farz. If a source is a source of, a cause of the wajib, that source is also wajib. And if a source is cause of or source of any sunnah, that bid'ah is sunnah. For instance, now I would like to know whether you take it for necessary or not. Wherever you go, you make an arch. This arch is found in every mosque. When it is bid'ah, only Miladun Nabi is not bid'ah. You say that there was no proper arrangement at the time of the Holy Prophet. You did not tell me about my subject. I could not prepare myself, but this is spontaneously. You must have checked that this is a spontaneous subject. I could not prepare myself, but you are allowed to put any questions relevant to my subject. Every question relevant to my subject would be appreciated. I am responsible to answer, inshallah. And it is my duty to convince. But the question should be with good intention, not with the intention of quarrel. The quarrel could not be settled down by the Holy Prophet himself. Therefore, I am not in position to settle down the quarrels. If you want to know the fact, it is my duty to convince you. Look, here, the arch of the mosque was defined as a bid'ah. But now this bid'ah is compulsory. And the minarets, the minarets of the mosques are also bid'ah. The same book writes about it. And the book is available with me. And would that you would have told me about the subject, I would have brought my books with me just to show the people whether this is the record which legalizes what I say. The minarets were also built up by Hazrat Umar bin Abdul Aziz just to know the location of the mosque. And it will enable any passerby to go to the mosque, to approach the mosque, and to participate in the congregational prayer. Since these minarets are a source of participation in the congregational prayer and do the obligatory prayer, if it is a source of obligatory prayer, then the sign of minarets is obligatory. And if it is just a sign of the congregational prayer, then it is sunnah. Now, the Miladul Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the first invitation of the prophethood of Muhammad Mustafa alayhi sallam. Now, we would like to know how this is first invitation. Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam proclaimed his prophethood after the age of 40 years. And Hazrat Sayyidah Khadija Kubra embraced Islam. And after that, Hazrat Haidar Karrar, and after that Hazrat Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu anhu. But all of these things happened. Please don't talk to each other. As long as I am speaking, it is my duty. But after that, you will give me the time. I mean, if it is Maghrib prayer, I can give you the time afterwards as well. I am here. Alhamdulillah. Look, here, your duty is to check everything according to the Islamic law. You say that Milad Sharif was not properly arranged. Quran was compiled. Why? The lack of time, the lack of sources. If the Quranic compilation can be postponed just for lack of the circumstances, the lack of the time, similarly, the celebration of the birthday of the Holy Prophet can be postponed. But you say, I say that this is the first invitation to the prophethood. Prophethood is compulsory or not?
Yes.
Of course. When you define that source of any obligatory is obligatory. When it is source of the prophethood, identification of the prophet. So, would you define it as a compulsory or just a simple lawful? No, this is not just lawful, but this is obligatory. How? Hazrat Sayyida Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, Imam Hakim radiyallahu ta'ala anhu writes a tradition in Mustadrak Sharif. He says that Kana Yahudiyun Sakana Makkata Yatjuru fiha. There was a Jew residing in Mecca Sharif, and he used to trade. And once upon a night, he began to say that the person about whom I have been talking to you is near about, is more likely to be born tonight. And she says, فَقَالَ لَيْلَةَ مَوْلِدِ النَّبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ يَا مَعْشَرَ قُرَيْشٍ. Oh Qurayshite people, I would like to say that the person about whom I have been talking to you have been born tonight to you. Then فَخَرَجُوا بِهِ. They took him with them. فَأَدْخَلُوهُ عَلَىٰ أُمِّهِ. And they took him to the mother of the Holy Prophet. And then فَقَالُوا أَخْرِجِي أَخْرِجِ الْمَوْلُودَ إِبْنَكَ. Or Sayyida, please bring out your newly born son. When Nabi Kareem was brought there, كَشَفُوا عَنْ زَارِهِ. They took off his shirt from the backside. When he saw the stamp of the prophethood, he fell down, headlong, unconsciously. Kalu malaka malaka malaka. उधर को फेस करते तो आवाज नहीं आती. आवाज नहीं. इधर ही बंदे बैठे नहीं यारा. और जरा इन्हां की आवाज नहीं, इन्हां गल करने की लोड़ है ना. This is a great mistake. All of the scholars are sitting behind. When there is an academic point to be discussed, then I have to face the Maulana people, because these are the discussions which are properly held in the textbooks, scholastic books, which are being taught in the university, in the colleges, and without a solution of application of those principles, the text of the Holy Quran cannot be properly understood. He says that it is very difficult for them when I divert my attention to Maulana people, they are unable to understand. But the points which is going to be discussed cannot be understood by the common people, therefore I divert my attention to Maulana people. So, Hazrat Sayyida says, Wahabi says that the Prophet made human mistake. Therefore he was not perfect. Look, when he was not perfect, why are you following? So this is a question. If a person is not perfect, it is against your wisdom, against your humanity to follow a person who is not perfect. Quran says that the Holy Prophet is not only perfect, he is leader of the perfects. Hazrat Imam Razi, Hazrat Imam Mullah Ali Qari, who has passed in 114 in Makkah Sharif, he was a traditionalist. He was teacher of Shah Abdul Qadir. He writes in a book with the name of Mirqat Sharif Ishqaq. Hazrat Rasulullah was reported to have said, Ana Imamul Mursalina wala fakhra. I am leader of the prophets, but I am not proud of it. Here, Imam Fakhruddin Razi says, all the perfect human beings are behind him. The person who used to revive the dead bodies was behind him. This was a matter of pride, but why he does not feel any pride? And the person who split the Red Sea into two parts, he was behind him. This was a matter of pride. Why he is not proud? And the persons who extinguished the fire by touching with his foot, that was behind him. And he was leader. This was a matter of pride. But why he was not proud? He says that it was not a matter of pride for the Holy Prophet to be the leader of the perfect people, but it was a matter of pride for the prophets that they have got such a perfect human being. For instance, when the companions of the Holy Prophet asked him how we should do the prayer, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli, means do prayer as you see me doing, means I am the perfect, the complete, typical example to be followed. If he is not complete, he should not be followed. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam deena. He says that when the Quran has reported itself to have been completed by Allah, who we are to add anything to it. But this is a question which can be put to the person who adds the verse of the Holy Quran and the text of the Holy Quran. This is not addition to the Holy Quran. This is a derivation from Quran, derivation from the Quran. Otherwise, all the Islamic legal body would stand null and void. You will have to nullify all of the fiqh, all of the Islamic rules, because they were not given directly. There are two ways to give the law. One, in the name of person, just like certain things were given in the name of Zayd bin Harsa. But mostly the Quran gives the principles and gets the Muslim a right to legislate the law. As Quran says, Ma ataakum ar-rasulu fakhuzuhu wa ma nahakum anhu fantahu. You are duty bound to follow whatever is given by the Holy Prophet himself. And even if you are not aware of it, without any discrimination, means this is in addition to the Quran. All of the prophetic traditions are in addition to Quran. If you say that we are just bound to practice the contents of the Holy Quran, then the total embodiment of the prophetic tradition would be excluded from the Islamic body, when nothing can be done without the incorporation of the prophetic traditions. Completion of the Holy Quran means whatever was mentioned in the Holy Quran. You are duty bound to derive the law from that very Quran. And this was taken from the Holy Quran. When it was not mentioned that such a compilation of the Holy Quran should be made, but that was made, why the companions of the Holy Prophet did not put question to Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu, when Quran was perfected by Allah Rabbul Izzat, why are you going to compile it? it means that the addition to the text of the Holy Quran is not lawful. You cannot say this new type of verse should be included in the Holy Quran because I came to know that this is also verse of the Holy Quran. As you can say that, Ash-shaykhu wa-shaykhatu iza zanaya farjubuhuma nakalam min Allah. This is also verse of the Holy Quran. And it was mentioned in the Bukhari Sharif. When do you stone to death a fornicator, an adulterer? This was established by the Holy Quran. But this verse of the Holy Quran was not inserted according to the consensus of the companions of the Holy Prophet. Therefore, you cannot insert this verse of the Holy Quran in Quran. This is the meaning of addition, anything to Quran. If you derive some semantics, some issues, some decisions from the Holy Quran, you would not be called to have added something to the Holy Quran. Just like when a fornicator, an adulterer lady was proved to be an adulterer and she was going to be stoned to death in the reign of Hazrat Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and Hazrat Haider Karrar Sher Khuda came there. He said, this decision is not to be implemented at the moment. You will have to wait for the birth of that baby. Unless the fetus is born, you will have to wait. Otherwise, you will have to be punished. He said, this was not mentioned in the Holy Quran. He said that you must know that the safety of an irrelevant person, an innocent person, is necessary, even if it was not independently mentioned in the Holy Quran, but it can be derived from the Holy Quran. The derivation from the Holy Quran is not addition to the Quran. Bid'ah Hasana. He did not reject it. This is a misunderstanding. The Maktubat is with me. He does not reject, but there is a confusion among the Muslim scholars as well. That is very complicated for everyone to understand. If he believes so, he says that there are 10 lataifs. Lataif Alme Amr, Lataif Alme Qalb, Latifa Qalb, Latifa Ruh, and Latifa Sir, Latifa Khafi, Latifa Akhfa. This cannot be substantiated from the Holy Quran. This is also bid'ah. This muraqabah. Can you substantiate that any companions of the Holy Prophet, ever in life, he meditated? Meditation on the lataif is totally bid'ah. If bid'ah hasana cannot be proved, why Imam Rabbani rahmatullah alayh used to do it? He was a master of this subject. He was teaching. By chance, I have got my briefcase here. I have a book at the moment about Khandan Naqshbandiya Aliyah. And this is a question there that these things were not found in the companions of the Holy Prophet. Why these people are doing muraqabah and lataif Alme Amr and Alme Khalq, Bad, Khaq, Nahar, etc., etc. These are lataif. These were not introduced in the life of the Holy Prophet, neither in Quran nor in Hadith, but they were discussed, they were practiced by Hazrat Imam Rabbani, Mujaddid al-Afsani, Shaykh Ahmad Sarandi, Rahmatullah alayh. If the bid'at hasana is also culpable, why he was doing?
Is this really a good innovation? Is Miladun Nabi, celebration of Miladun Nabi, a good innovation because it is dividing, not uniting the Muslims?
Look, if the Muslims are being divided just for nothing, so this is not a solution. This is an invitation. All of the Muslims believing in Muhammad Mustafa alayhi salam are not. What wrong thing is done in Miladun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The miracles which were seen by the non-Muslims. Look, exculpatory evidence, it cannot be rejected in any court. For instance, an infidel says that at the birth of the Holy Prophet, I went inside of Kaaba Sharif, I found all of the idols to have fallen down headlong. And when I checked, it was on account of birth of the Holy Prophet. How did they find out? Since there was a bend in the wall of Kaaba Sharif, Maulana, pay full attention. This is a great loss on my part that when I want to talk to you, I am disconnected from the other audience. This is why, how did they find it out whether it was on account of Muhammad Mustafa? Since there was a bend in the wall of Kaaba Sharif towards the birthplace of the Holy Prophet, they came to the conclusion that this bend shows that the idols have fallen down on account of birth of that person. Because there was a light, there was a revolving congregation of the stars, and there was a perfume all around Mecca on account of that very person. So when the credit of these things goes to the authenticity, goes to the grandeur, magnificence, and grandeur of the Holy Prophet. So this is not discreditable. This is creditable to the cause of Muhammad Mustafa. Therefore, the Muslims should correct themselves. And these people who began to disperse on account of this, they started in the 12th century of Islam. Before that, there was no confusion. I can challenge that there was no dispute among the Muslims about the celebration of the Holy Prophet, because more than 100 books were written by the competent Muslim commentators, the traditionists, just like Imam al-Hajar Makki, Imam al-Jalaluddin Suyuti, Imam al-Sakhawi, Imaduddin al-Kasir. These people also wrote the books on the celebration of the birthday of the Holy Prophet. And the Quran itself says, وَاذْكُرُوا عَلَىٰ اللَّهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. Your duty is to mention the bounties of Allah so that you may succeed. Means the celebration of, the mentioning of, the enunciation of, the propaganda of the bounties of Allah is a real source of success for the Muslims. So they were misguided, they were misled by the foreigners and from the outsider. This is why they are opposing the idea. Otherwise, more than 100 Muslim scholars who are very competent and imam of the time, they wrote the books on the legality of celebration of the birthday of the Holy Prophet. Is there any other question? Okay. Say.